Hello, my fellow trainers, and welcome back to another episode of Pokemon Go PvP Showcases. Today we have some Ultra League battles in store for you, so if this is content that you enjoy, please be sure to like and subscribe because I truly enjoy making these videos. So, let's just hop straight into this, guys. The team that I'm running today is somewhat of a classic team from my understanding. It is a triple water team with Swampert, Gyarados, and Lapras. Let me go ahead and give you guys the rundown of the Moveset. We have Swampert in the lead, which, I mean, is one of the most accessible and also best Pokemon in the Ultra League. It's super spammy with Hydro Cannon, hits extremely hard. It is one of my most, on the top of my list of most hated and annoying Pokemon in the Go Battle League, but nonetheless, I can't deny that it is very good. So, if you don't have a Swampert yet, I mean, we've been, 9 seasons in now? It's time to get you one because he's definitely worth the investment. On this, for his moveset, we're running the standard Mud Shot, Hydro Cannon, and Earthquake. You could run Sludge Wave if you want to. It gives you a little bit more coverage on the grass types. I mean, because obviously this team can have some trouble with grass, but I'll talk a little more about that in a minute. I just ran Earthquake on it because I didn't feel like TMing the move away, honestly. And it's pretty useful if you come across things like, you know, maybe an Excadrill or a Registeel, or even a Melmetal, for example. And then, of course, if you don't know, Hydro Cannon is a legacy move, so if your Swampert doesn't have that, I'd say Surf Swampert is okay, but Hydro Cannon Swampert's just on a whole nother level, so use that Elite Charge TM, it's a good investment. And then we're going to shift gears and go to Gyarados here. Gyarados is a pretty good safe swap. It only has 2 weaknesses with Rock and Electric. And we don't see too much electric in the Ultra League, minus maybe an Ampharos, and I guess very rarely like an Electivire or something like that. But the moveset we're running is Dragon Tail, Aqua Tail, and Crunch. Now, Dragon Tail is not required. That's also a legacy move. I just like having Dragon Tail on my Gyarados. I prefer it to Dragon Breath, but if you don't want to use an Elite TM, or if you just like Dragon Breath better, that's completely fine. But Aqua Tail is also a legacy move. You know, it takes an Elite Charge TM to teach it that, and I'd highly recommend teaching your Gyarados that, especially if you plan on running this team, because the Aqua Tail, you know, he gets to the move quicker than Crunch, or I think almost any other charge move that Gyarados has access to, so it's useful for that. You know, it's good against the Nidoqueen, it's good against all the different ground types, rock types that you might come across in the Ultra League. And then we have Crunch, just because Crunch is an amazing move. Does good against Giratina, can kind of even that matchup. It is good against Cresselia, and anything that it hits, you know, it has the chance to lower defense as well. And then down in the back we have Lapras, who can also serve as a good safe swap. Lapras is an amazing tank in the Ultra League. We're running Ice Shard, Surf Beam, and Ice Beam. Now, again, this is a double legacy Lapras, so this is definitely not the most accessible team ever. And I'm just going to be honest, in the Ultra League, if you're going to run Lapras, I would not recommend running the Water Gun variant. You need Ice Shard because there's so much Dragon, there's so much grass running around, and there's a good number of flyers as well. And I think it's just the superior fast move for Lapras anyway. And then Surf is the move you should go with. It's just the good water type move for Lapras. And then there's Ice Beam. Some people opt for Skull Bash on Lapras, but I like having Ice Beam on hand. It can even up that matchup with Venusaur or Trevenant potentially, or Force a Shield. So that's why it's good to have that as some coverage in the Ultra League. But okay, my fellow trainers, well, hold up. Before we start, let me not get ahead of myself. So I guess the glaring issue with this team is, what do you do against grass? And unfortunately, I don't think I have any videos in the lineup today about, you know, where I faced a grass type and I got the win. I'm not going to lie, a grass lead on this team can be pretty tough. But if there's a grass that, you know, gets swapped into Swampert from the beginning, that's why we're running Swampert too. It can kind of draw that out. And depending on who it is, you can either come in with Lapras or Gyarados to deal with it, because if you use Lapras, the ice is super effective against the grass typing, or if you want to use Gyarados, he's not super affected by grass because of his flying typing, so it just depends on the matchup, honestly. But okay, now, my fellow trainers, let's go ahead and hop into the first battle of the showcase. Alright, in battle number 1, we get Swampert into an Obstagoon. Now, an Obstagoon lead is, I mean, it's not unfavorable, it's a pretty even neutral lead. We can outpace the Obstagoon to its Night Slashes or its Cross Chops because Swampert is really, it's really easy for him to get ahead on energy, and Hydro Cannon does a good bit of damage We're not under shield pressure. I mean, this is going to hit for a pretty good amount of damage, but, you know, no need to shield yet. We're still in green HP, and I can farm up a little bit of energy. I was over farming there. I want him to go ahead and throw, and maybe I can get to 2 hydro cannons, potentially force a shield here early on. Let's see what they decide to do. We have 2 loaded up, and when you load up 2, you know, you could also threaten with the potential earthquake. They do decide to shield that when we go immediately into the next hydro cannon, and I don't mind if I lose lead here if it means, you know, I get shield advantage. Oh, and they use both of their shields, so this is awesome. We lose Swampert in the lead, but that's okay. We still have both of our shields intact. I can come in with Gyarados here. Definitely better to come in on the Obstagoon. And I was almost getting ready to hit a charge move there. My opponent comes in with a Crobat. And, of course, we swap immediately into Lapras here. This is great. You know, with those Ice Shards, we'll be doing super effective damage. And, honestly, we're still not under shield pressure at the moment because, I mean, Lapras is a tank. And they have both of their shields down, so we go straight for the Ice Beam here. And this should take out the Crobat. Yep, super effective damage. It's out of there, and my opponent comes back out with Obstagoon. And what do I do here? I still don't shield it, man. Kind of a ballsy call on my part, but Lapras is such a tank, you know, you got to respect the defense. They throw another move, and we do go ahead and shield this one because I do want to see what they have in the back. Lapras might be good to deal with it, and they got the attack buff, and I hit the Surf there, but they went ahead and threw their Night Slash just before I got to mine, so I'd go ahead and save the shield. And it is a Nidoqueen in the back, so this one's pretty well locked in. We have 2 Aqua Tails loaded on the Gyarados, and we still have a shield intact. So like I said, this one's looking like a good, strong win. We go ahead and throw the next Aqua Tail. This should be... Oh, they survive with 1 HP, but we easily farm down the Nidoqueen. And they had swapped out their Obstagoon, but 1 Dragon Tail, and that is a very good game to my opponent, and a good win for this team. So yeah, I kind of wanted to highlight in that last battle, like, Swampert is just... As much as I despise him sometimes, he's so good at getting shields early on. And for the next game, though, we get Swampert into a Talonflame, which is an amazing, beautiful lead because Talonflame is a fire type. So we're just going to go full-on Hydro Can spam. And we throw the first one here. This is most likely going to get a shield. It does just that. And we're going to go ahead and try to farm up to another one. We beat them to 2 Hydro Cannons before they throw their first charge move. So that's really awesome. And we get both shields early on. Like I was just saying, Swampert applies so much shield pressure. It is ridiculous. Now, I think I actually go ahead and shield this, which was a great call because they threw a Brave Bird. That most certainly probably would have taken us out because Brave Bird hits very hard, and Talonflame is a strong boy. So we go into Lapras here, which is fine, but in hindsight, in hindsight, I think Gyarados is better to come in on Swampert because of that. If Swampert throws Earthquake against Lapras, it does a good bit of neutral damage. You know, see, it got us into yellow HP there, and even though Lapras is a tank, I mean, Earthquake is a very hard-hitting move, and it's stab for the Swampert. Whereas if I bring in Gyarados there, he resists Hydro Cannon and the Earthquake. So, you know, he's a better... That was a mistake on my part. So they get to another Hydro Cannon before I throw a Surf, and like I said, Swampert gives and he takes, I tell you. But we're coming in with Gyarados, commit to the farm down with Dragon Tail, and helps us to load up a bit of energy. Let's see what my opponent decides to bring back out. It is that Talonflame, so we go immediately into the Aqua Tail here, and this is going to hurt. The Talonflame going to do some good, super effective damage. And we still have a shield intact, which is very nice. And they throw their charge move here, and they had a good bit of energy loaded up before, so I go ahead and shield this one, which is good. We correctly called the Brave Bird twice, which is awesome. I'm trying to commit to the farm down, and they get to another charge move. Oh no, is this going to be another Brave Bird? Whew! Thankfully, it is just a flame charge, and we resist it, and my opponent brings out an Obstagoon, so we're sitting pretty good here. Both shields are down, but we have Gyarados alive, and we have Swampert alive as well. We're chunking for good neutral damage with those Dragon Tails. They're throwing their Night Slash. This won't take out from this range, but this will hurt quite a bit. Yeah, now we're in red HP. I go ahead and throw the Aqua Tail on this Obstagoon. Going to just be chunking for a good bit of more damage. And I should have swapped probably immediately into the Swampert here. I mean, no need to waste any time. Just swap in immediately, throw the Hydro Cannon. Should have done that from the get-go right after I threw the Aqua Tail. The Talonflame comes out, we farm it down once, and we get another strong win with this team. So in battle number 3, we get Swampert into a Drifblim. So I like to have a certain strategy. If I get a lead where I know it's something that's going to debuff me, like an Icy Wind or a Poison Fang, for example, I let the first one go through, and then I usually try to swap out to clear the debuff, so, you know, they pretty much waste a charge move. We throw one Hydro Cannon and they let it go through. It does a good bit of neutral damage. This is an Icy Wind on my Swampert, which I let them go ahead and debuff me, and then I swap immediately into Lapras, and I also loaded up a Hydro Cannon on my Swampert. My opponent swaps into a Shadow Machamp, which is not great, because, I mean, Shadow Machamp is absolutely destroying my Lapras. They shield that first Surf, which is good for us, and I'm trying to get to another one before they throw, which I do. Amazing, because Surf does a good bit of neutral damage to Machamp, especially a Shadow Machamp. Like, look at that, he's in red HP now, and we're trying to, we get pretty close to farming that thing down. There's no need to save my Lapras here, so I just go ahead and let them launch their charge move. Throw the Cross Chop. I come in with Gyarados because I knew he was going to throw his charge move immediately, and it's just another Cross Chop. Better for Gyarados to tank it than my Swampert, since Gyarados resists. So this is why it's good to know typing matchups, guys, because you know what can resist and what's super effective, and it helps you know what to switch in on, you know, oftentimes. They bring out a Melmetal, which is interesting. I come straight into Swampert, lure back out that Drifblim, and I don't know if I decide to shield this or not. I do decide to shield it. It is an Icy Wind. I was afraid maybe it would be a Shadow Ball, because I think they had a bit of energy loaded from before, but we load up 2 Hydro Cannons, even with the debuff to our attack. This is going to be hitting for still quite a bit. Swampert, man, you're so swole. Swampert is one of those Pokemon that's like amazing to use, but so frustrating to go up against sometimes. I'm sure some of you guys can attest to that pain. But they launch another charge move at us. We've gotten that Drifblim very weak, and that Icy Wind still doesn't take us out, so we can actually get to another Hydro Cannon and take this thing out. And again, we are sitting pretty with this team. And I swap immediately into Gyarados since he's more full on HP. You know, I guess, and since Swampert was almost dead, it's best to save him just in case in the back. Gyarados is not a good matchup for Melmetal at all because Melmetal has Thunder Shock and can learn Rock Slide, but we have to come in and try to pull this thing out with Gyarados. We launch a Crunch, and we get the defensive debuff, and we get to the Aqua Tail before they launch a charge move, which is amazing. Is this going to be enough to take it out? It's at 1 HP, and oh, they threw a charge move just at the end there. But this is why I saved that Swampert, because he comes in, bada bing, bada boom, 1 Mud Shot, and Melmetal is out of there. That was a very close win, and I'm so glad I saved that Swampert there. But okay, in the next battle we get Swampert into a Shadow Snorlax. So, on lead here, I'm going to play this just as similarly. Throwing the Hydro Cannon on the Shadow Swampert, which will actually be doing a pretty good bit of damage, even though Swampert is a tank. You know, the Shadow debuffs its defense. So we go ahead and launch another Hydro Cannon before it gets to its charge move. It's pretty ridiculous that Swampert can get to 2 Hydro Cannons before Swampert gets to a Body Slam. Maybe the opponent was farming up a bit, but still, it's pretty insane. The Body Slam comes through and does a good bit of damage. You know, the attack does go up on Snorlax. He goes ahead and throws another one, and I decide to shield this. I think I want to try to win lead here. I might actually try to commit to this farm down, but no, I go ahead and launch the Hydro Cannon. In hindsight, I might have been able to farm that down, but it's the safe play to make. Launching the Hydro Cannon, and Swampert can just easily farm up to another one anyway, so why not? The Giratina comes in. It is a Dragon Breath Giratina. Giratina Altered. And I would like to get to an Earthquake in that situation, but we were low on HP, so let's just throw 1 Hydro Cannon, chip away any HP that we can, and we're coming in with Lapras, the best matchup on the team for Giratina, even though Gyarados is good too. But Lapras is tankier and he has the Ice. They throw an Ancient Power, which is super effective against us, but thankfully Ancient Power is not a very strong move. And they have an Umbreon in the back, so this is looking not very good, guys. They have 2 shields and one of the best tanks in the Go Battle League on the field right now. And then they have Giratina Altered, who's also a tank. So we're really going to have to be decisive in this one. We're going to have to try to pull this one out. We throw one Aqua Tail, just trying to chip away at this Umbreon. And while I was doing this battle, I was honestly thinking about launching a Crunch at the Umbreon. Even though it's resisted, maybe we'd get the debuff, because this thing is just incredibly tanky. It's like absolutely ridiculous how tanky this Pokemon is. But nonetheless, we're just trying to get it as low as we can, because we do have Lapras pretty full on HP in the back. And right before they farm us down, we get to another Aqua Tail, which is huge, because this might actually force a shield. If it does, this is looking possible. It forces the shield. We come in immediately with Swampert and throw the Surf. This might force the last shield. And then we have Lapras against Giratina in the back. Yes, it forces the last shield. We get exactly what we need. And I'm honestly not under shield pressure at the moment, so I decide not to shield it. Dark Pulse coming through. We're trying to commit to the farm down here, but oh my goodness, Umbreon is so very bulky. I do decide to shield this one because it would chunk for a lot of HP damage. And they tried to switch in because they thought I was going to throw a Surf. But no, sir. You brought out the Giratina and sealed its fate. Here comes the Ice Beam. Doesn't quite take it out, but we can try to commit to this farm down before it gets to a move. Yes, we get the Giratina out of there and farm it down. And my opponent decides to top left. Man, what a close battle. Let me tell you guys, getting that shield right before Gyarados was taken out was huge. The absolute decisive factor in that battle. And it was a good call on my opponent's part trying to switch in there, because he probably thought I was just going to throw the Surf. And then Giratina, who resists water, would not have been damaged much by it. But thankfully we didn't throw there. We loaded up the Ice Beam, and we were able to farm that thing down and then pull out that very strong and close win. Okay, so in the last battle, we get Swampert into a Registeel, which is a magnificent lead. We're super effective against it with the ground, and they bring out a Swampert of their own, and I learned from my mistake in the last time this happened, and I throw Gyarados to catch the Hydro Cannon, which is beautiful, and we have the Swampert locked in. We're doing good neutral damage to this thing with Dragon Tail. It's such a hard-hitting move. That's why I like running it as opposed to Dragon Breath. I'm just used to the counts on it because I've used Dragon Tail Dragonite so much. And Dragon Breath is a very good move too, though. It really just depends on which one you prefer, because they're both offensive pressuring moves. But okay, back to the commentary. We get the shield from the Swampert there. And we're going to go ahead and shield this, because Hydro Cannon would hurt from that range. Definitely put us very low in the red HP. We get to the Aqua Tail before they throw another one. Let's see what my opponent decides to do here. They throw it, and that is their last shield, which is magnificent. And honestly, I don't think it's really worth it to shield the Giratina here, because I can come in with either Swampert or Lapras to take care of this and farm down this Swampert. And this is good too, because I know they have Registeel in the back, but I don't know what other Pokemon they have. So this is a good opportunity for Lapras to come in and tank some hits and also farm up some good energy. That was an Earthquake that came through, which is not so great. That gets us into yellow HP. We're trying to farm this thing down. Ooh, highly surprised it didn't get to a Hydro Cannon there, but it's okay. We come in with Swampert, and they come out with a Giratina. They swapped out their Registeel there, which, I mean, of course, that's a good call on their part. It's not a good matchup for them, but we're going to throw the Earthquake here, and Earthquake chunks for a good bit of damage. Like, Giratina's very bulky, but Earthquake's a very hard-hitting move. Like, look, that thing's in yellow HP now. So if we go ahead and get to another Earthquake here, that's going to be the play. And do I decide to shield this? I don't know what I do here. I don't decide to. We're in red HP, but that's okay, because Registeel does not have a very hard-hitting fast move, so we can live that. We get to the next Earthquake, and this is going to be taking out the Giratina. We get a huge threat out of there, but this Registeel is pretty full on HP, and I made a mistake there. I should have just... I honestly think I forgot I had a shield. I throw a Hydro Cannon, which does very, very little to the very bulky Registeel. I would have had more than enough time to shield this and then go for the Earthquake. So, you know, but, you know, just goes to show, I'm certainly not perfect in these battles. Like, I make mistakes all the time, but it's a learning curve for myself. It's helpful for me to go back and see how I could have improved in these. Because we still pull out this win. I mean, we had Lapras loaded on energy from before. He has 2 Surfs ready to go. That'll be enough to take out this Registeel. We throw one, and then we throw the other one. And that's going to be another good win. And I'm telling you guys, this team really performed well. Like, I want to really kind of highlight that fact. I think the worst set I've had with this team so far is a 2-3. All the others have been, 3-2s or positive sets. And this is a really good team to run specifically in the Open Ultra League. It probably would perform pretty well in the other, like, limited Ultra League metas too. But I think, in Open Ultra League is where this team shines best. I was really excited to give it a try, and I'm going to keep on continuing to use it all throughout this last week. In the Go Battle League, the grind is, always there. Trying to get to Expert for the first time ever. I'm currently Veteran. This is the second time I've reached Veteran in a row. I reached Veteran last season as well. But, okay, my fellow trainers, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and end this video. Please let me know what you thought of this team. What teams are you running in the Go Battle League? What league are you doing? And just overall, comment anything you wish to say below. As always, thank you so much for watching this, and I will catch you all in the next video.